Hello, you Burger Kings and Quinoa Queens. Welcome back to the F1 23 Last to First Championship. It has been a hot minute. And by a hot minute, I mean months. Well, I'm sure it's not that important. We're back anyway. Today, we're going to be driving as Kevin Magnussen around the Hungarian Grand Prix circuit. Nothing to add, other than the weather is going to get sprucey. So without further ado, let's bring the sauce and head into a saucy qualifying. It's raining cats, dogs, and all other animals, but Max Verstappen currently on pole position. A great first lap from him. Oh, God! Good grief! What on earth's happened there? He's been absolutely clobbered by the Haas car. It looks like Kevin Magnussen, who's just got... He's not even tried. He's not even tried to make the corner. That's outrageous behaviour. Max Verstappen minding his own business, doesn't check his mirrors, but then why would you expect him to? Kevin Magnussen kamikazes his way into the front right wheel of the Red Bull driver, and that could well jeopardise Max Verstappen's pole. Well, the man who's fondled his pole is Lando Norris, who takes pole position by mere thousandths over Charles Leclerc. An incredible battle for pole. Verstappen's time in the end still keeps him in P6, so why did Kevin Magnussen bother? My teammate's in 12th. We've got Daniel Ricciardo on the grid, I meant to say. Despite Nick de Vries actually scoring points, the team still not thinking he was up to scratch. We're last. Speaking of not up to scratch, I mean, I've got no excuse. What Kevin told me was that he wanted to spruce up the championship and not let Verstappen completely run away with it. But it's no consolation, really, because, well, we're last. So that's not gone well, but as we go into race day, we're starting in the wet conditions, and I have a feeling that something magical is going to happen. A wet weather fairy tale, or one to forget. 5 red lights as we're having a spasm. Lights out, and away we go, and my suspension finally complies. The initial launch isn't actually that great. Sargent actually keeps up with us, but the post-launch is meteoric. Applying the ERS, Ricciardo going to the inside, trying to be ambitious, but we are more ambitious. Down the inside of a whole host of cars. We're up to P13 already here, trying to tiptoe our way around, find our feet in these wet conditions. I must say, not doing qualifying was probably not great. Down the inside, 3 wide. Into the next corner, Stroll and Zhou have been sent for a bag of chips. Absolutely wonderful. And now it's Yuki Tsunoda next up on our hit list. Probably not the right way of putting it, considering Magnussen's qualifying performance. But anyway, we move. Through the left-hander we go. The gap opens up on the inside, and we send a wheel there. Scare Tsunoda off the racing line. And we are into the points already. And it's only halfway through lap 1. And I'm going to leave this first lap in a bit completely uncut. We're going to see raw driving and raw precision on your screens. And we're just trying to tiptoe, like I said, our way round. Not doing qualifying was a mistake as Russell makes a mistake. Speaking of which, these scripts write themselves. And oh God, massive contact there. We almost get it completely crossed up. And that was almost the end of our last to first challenge before it even started. Drama already here in Hungary. We're sliding all over the place like a salmon on ice. But we're up into P9. 2 points to our name, and we've got the McLarens, Hamilton, both Red Bulls, both Ferraris. Where's Lando? Lando Norris has lost the lead. Oh my goodness, Charles Leclerc has actually rinsed him. There he is with the fastest lap. Must have got a much better launch than him. Ryan English, I don't care. You can get your own grip. I'm not playing Fortnite. Nope. Not playing Fortnite, but we're trying to default dance our way round these wet conditions. That is probably the worst bit of commentary I've ever done, and I'm so sorry. They do say it takes 2 to tango, though, and initially Max Verstappen and Alonso were side by side. Piastri's looking a bit vulnerable now as we try and find an avenue round the outside. Nothing doing there quite yet, but as we go through these first complex of corners, again catching a slide. Thank God for F1 23's handling model. You're just able to feel the car that much more. A purple Sector 1. We are cooking up something absolutely sumptuous. As Piastri doesn't get a great exit, we get a meteoric launch. Piastri to the inside, we brake late as we dare and skate our way round the outside of the Australian driver, send his world upside down, and we're now up into the dizzying heights of P8. Could get a nosebleed in this Haas car, but we're on board with Daniel Ricciardo, looking at a replay of the start. Of course, taking the place of Nick de Vries on the grid, even though he did score points in Britain. So Ricciardo will be looking to emulate that in these next few races. As you can see to the inside, as we go surging one past him and a bunch of cars. He's looking for any avenue through, but it's a complete gridlock. I mean, it looks like the M25 on pretty much every single day, which is not really a surprise. But now, he's down to P19, and Sargent has managed to get the inside line as he got mugged. He mugged Ricciardo around the outside. Ricciardo got mugged by a bunch of cars who found the extra momentum and psychological advantage on that outside line. And he's in last. Ricciardo's last. Alpha Tauri, are you sure Nick de Vries didn't skin Daniel? Putting Nick de Vries's questionable ethics to one side for just a moment. The verdict is coming in for fastest laps, and as we cross the line, we're the fastest man on track. Not by much, but it's enough, and we are smelling blood in the water, and we won't wait around. Down the inside we go to get past Fernando Alonso. The Steiner ship has well and truly set sail, and we could be going for glory here at the Hungaroring. This is fantastic. Meanwhile, another guy is performing fantastically. Carlos Sainz is a 1-3 for Ferrari currently. Oh, no! No, Carlos Sainz has got an engine failure. No way, and everyone's getting caught up in the confusion behind. We're trying to get past Max Verstappen to the inside. We have to bide our time, but he moves in the braking zone. What? We send Max Verstappen off to a different continent after that. But that was very, very devilish from the Dutch driver there. Pillock past. Our next target is Sir Lewis Hamilton up ahead in the lead Mercedes car. We've got a purple Sector 1, and these conditions are catching out everyone. A little shimmy from Hamilton there, and we find the momentum, but only briefly. A massive snap of oversteer, just catching it. Hamilton, though, with his own, well, sympathetic oversteer moment at the right-hander. We're finding grip, though, everywhere, and got confidence in spades on the brakes. We're just having to feel our way around on the power, be patient, and then get on the brakes. We can get on the brakes so much later, I've just realised. You saw with the move on Alonso earlier, who has actually got past Max Verstappen again. The outside line looks tasty, but only for a brief moment, and Hamilton curtails that threat very quickly indeed. We might get the fastest lap. We don't get the fastest lap, but with bigger fish to fry, we're really in Lewis Hamilton, and we're going to send one once again down the inside. Easy as you like. It's textbook. It's P4. Look who it is next. It's the Mexican minister of driving really slowly. Sergio Perez holding the inside. We actually nearly go around the outside, but then he gives us a sinking feeling because he's absolutely thwarted us. We're almost getting another fastest lap meanwhile, but where we were sinking before, we're going to find joy and jubilation as we head round the outside this time of Sergio Perez, pinching him towards the apex, and our traction is vastly superior. A bit of ERS on the way out, and that is comfortable as you like. Next up, Lando Norris then, already pulling out of a second of Sergio Perez. Again, so consistent in these intermediate conditions. Lando Norris is going to get minced. Down the inside we go, and we are the Casserole King. Into P2 we go, and with fastest lap to our name, we're absolutely evaporating this wet weather condition and the field as a result. I don't really know what analogy I'm going for there, but the point is Charles Leclerc had better start feeling pretty nervous, I'd say. Asking for the weather report meanwhile, and this is what I was going to allude to, is the fact that it is actually drying out. You can see now there is actually no rain falling. It's now going to start drying out towards the end of this race, so it's a question of who blinks first and potentially goes on to slicks and gains a huge advantage on the rest of the field, as we're trying to find a way to switch past Leclerc. Meanwhile, I haven't been concentrating on the real battle at hand. Easy fastest lap, easily in the slipstream, alongside Leclerc moves across us, but we're down the inside, and we lead the Hungarian Grand Prix in a Haas car, no less. Our nosebleed is going to be absolutely overflowing. In fact, I'm surprised it hasn't got infected, become septic, and killed me. But we never gave up, and this Haas team that was once burned to the ground by the others in terms of relative performance has been reborn from the ashes and has risen above. And look at this, another fastest lap. We're 2.1 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc. It's an absolute mockery we're making of the rest of the field as the track continues to dry. Lap number 10 then, as you can see, a purple middle sector, and I think we're just going to scrape another fastest lap, and we do. A 28.6 this time. It's fantastic stuff. The reason I didn't show you the previous lap really is because it was shocking, I can't lie. But lap number 11 here, you're going to see a masterclass in wet weather performance. Round turn 1 we go. Battling continues though. Perez is trying to get past Lando Norris. They're both side by side and fighting hammer and tong for the final podium position in this race. Norris just thwarts Perez's charge in this particular instance. So not unlike most of Perez's season then. Through the left-hander we go then, 5th gear. Don't go out on that curb too much as we head through the right-hander, just missing the apex a little bit. But as you can see, the track has dried out significantly. And that's because it's lap 12. And also because DRS has been enabled just at the beginning of this lap. So it gets very interesting now. The gap to Leclerc now, by the way, nearly 6.5 seconds, you know, flex. As we continue on our merry way then, through the right-hander we go. Let's see if we keep it within the confines. Yes, we do, and it's a purple middle sector. It's purple sectors galore here. We are cooking, brewing, and stewing a concoction of pure perfection as we head into the last couple of corners, not skidding our way round and overheating the tyres. That is so crucial. We could have gone in for slicks potentially, but I feel like it's still just a bit too early. There's still a significant sheen on the track there. Still a little bit of standing water. So as we go across the line, it's at a 1 minute 27.8. We are a second and a half quicker almost than anybody else on this track. Someone is coming in. It's a Mercedes car that's coming in. And I think that's Lewis Hamilton that's going to come in and go on the slick tyres. So that could get interesting.
Okay, it could be a risk with the circuit this greasy, but we think the slick might now be the quicker tyre. If you think you can keep it on the road, let's consider swapping over.
Well, it looks like it's time, and yes, I think I can. I have no skill issues in these last to first challenges. Mostly, ignore qualifying, but we're going to box in this lap, and it's going to have to be soft tyres. You'd be mad to fit anything else on the car, and I assume everyone else will follow suit, because the track is, well, it's surely too dry now. We've got 2 purple sectors, and that's only because our tyres have now basically balded. It's got so dry. So into the pits, can we get a purple turn in? Oh, yes, we do. Thanks, Ronaldo, for bursting my eardrums, but easy as you like, onto the softs, and, oh, God, they haven't pit. What? No way. Perez and Piastri have seen sense and actually come into the pits. But Leclerc, Norris, Verstappen, Alonso, Russell, all deciding that they'll stick out on the inters, possibly to the end of this race, because they're going to lose more time than gain if they come into the pits now. It just seems completely brain dead of them. Formula 1, a sport that's moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, where decisions and calculations are made on a millisecond-like basis. We have 5 cars here who have fluffed it, and at the end of lap number 14, we're already almost within a second of Russell, still somehow not getting DRS because the FIA need new guide dogs. Verstappen might set the fastest lap, but we've got 2 purple sectors, and you are about to see the profound effects of this particular eventuality. Look how far back we come from as we absolutely send Russell to the 6th dimension. Next up is Fernando Alonso, and on tyres that are goosed, as Hamilton sets the fastest lap, we're going to absolutely waltz our way round the outside and send Alonso and co into Davy Jones' locker comparatively. It's been an absolute shambles for them. Ocon now sets the fastest lap, so that's not realistic. He would have had 5 penalties by now. Verstappen and Norris now our next targets, still on those intermediates and still looking like fools, trying not to hit the back of Norris, and we give him a little smooch on the rear end. Not ideal, but the switchback, the traction is so superior. We absolutely send one past Lando Norris, and the only car now, as I lose saliva, so that's not gone great, but Leclerc is our only car now between us and a surely guaranteed win in this last to first challenge in a Haas car. You have to be mad to think that this is even remotely possible. You'd have to bleach your eyes out if you think, oh God, Leclerc moves across us, and before you know it, we are round the outside of the Ferrari driver, and it's the easiest P1 and win surely we are ever going to have in these last to first challenges. Unbelievable. I didn't even really build up the excitement for it because it was inevitable. In the wet weather, we sailed our kayak round the rest, and in the dry, we are unstoppable. An 18-2 as we head on to the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix. Leclerc already almost 9 seconds behind us. And it's going to get very interesting now because Hamilton and Perez have just gone onto the main straight. There they are. They are going to be a threat for the podium positions now in the rest of this race, because the field's quite spread out here. Verstappen did overtake Norris in the end, rather unfortunately. But we're going to head on to the last lap of the Grand Prix. The gap now almost 15 seconds, and We don't even have to do anything else. We can take it nice and easy. We're just going to pop in the fastest lap into the 17s now. A 17.9. We are making a mockery of the rest of the field. We are the practical joker. And we have brought all of the laughs and all of the fun this race. We're drifting just because we can, to be honest with you. And, oh my god, no. No way. You have to be kidding. You actually have to be kidding me. Leclerc and Co have thrown away this race. I don't believe it. Leclerc was pretty much guaranteed second position. Hamilton and Perez, meanwhile, are fighting hammer and tong. Piastri moves up to P5 now, who made the inspired decision. One side of the McLaren garage had their head screwed on correctly this morning. Lando Norris has completely fumbled the bag here. What could have been P4 is now going to be the fringes of the points. Same for Charles Leclerc. Russell might not even be in the points at the end of this race. I don't believe how it's gone for them. Hamilton did manage to keep P3 though, and it's going to be so close between him and Verstappen and even Perez for that final podium position. And I haven't even commented on our race because, my goodness me, a race of pure perfection, perfectly executed, perfectly driven. We never put a foot wrong, and despite some scary moments, Haas are gonna win in Formula 1. It's Haas's first win. It's Kevin Magnussen's first win. He returns to the podium and he's on top of the rostrum in Formula 1. A simply phenomenal Hungarian Grand Prix driver of the day, rightly so. What a race!
What a fantastic Grand Prix that was, and an excellent win for the Haas team. Haas are no doubt happy with today's performance, having secured the win this weekend. And our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations as we speak.
Britain was crazy, like completely balmy. This wasn't as crazy, but the changeable conditions caused chaos for most of the grid, not knowing when the right time to pit was. Verstappen still somehow weasels his way into P2 despite his lack of brain cells. Perez managed to get Hamilton in the end, so that's gutting for Mercedes, who could have had repeat podiums in Formula 1, and Lewis Hamilton as well in this season. We drink sweet nothings, and look at that. An absolutely astonishing effort. Fastest lap, driver of the day, last to first completed for Kevin Magnussen. Over 20 seconds clear of anybody else. We could have made another pit stop and still won this race. That's how crazy quick we were today. And everywhere else it's crazy. Like I said, Piastri P5, Ocon 6th, Bottas made it to 7th from 15th, Leclerc down in 8th, Ferrari doing Ferrari things. I cannot believe that himself, Norris, Alonso, Russell and Co absolutely fumbled. Russell didn't even get points. Ricciardo did well to get 13th in his first race. I mean, it's there to see for yourself. Zhou Guanyu still hasn't scored points, by the way. I don't believe it, but maybe he will next time. Who knows? You'll just have to wait and see. Gutted for Carlos Sainz, who deserved way more from this race. Ferrari did in general, but zero synapses. Let's see if they can actually screw their heads on properly, because we're off next to the Belgian Grand Prix. Before we head there, though, let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship standings. Oh, yes, it has been a while, hasn't it? Max Verstappen, then, his lead is increased in the championship significantly over Charles Leclerc, who could have actually gained on him in the championship, but unfortunately decided to forget his guide dog, and so he loses ground in the championship. Sainz with a no score, Russell also with a no score. It's Perez and Hamilton that put pressure on for those higher Drivers' Championship positions then. Alonso with the one solitary point has a comfortable gap in 7th, but it's Magnussen, Bottas, Ocon, Piastri that are the big winners for today, especially Kevin Magnussen, who goes from having, 24 points and being 13th in the standings up to 8th place. Absolutely incredible stuff from him. Only Guan Yu Zhou and Daniel Ricciardo now are yet to score points in this season. In the constructor standings, Red Bull's lead has increased to 62 points. Mercedes, though, do well to gain ground on Ferrari, which is crucial for them. Aston Martin still solidly in 4th, but below them is where things get very interesting. Haas now on 58 points in 5th, but Alpine and McLaren hot in their heels, and only 1 point separating those two. Bottas has deadlifted Alfa Romeo with 44 points into P8 and on the hunt for even more. Williams in 9th, not too far behind them. It's Alpha Tauri that are still way, way off in the standings. But who knows, maybe their luck will turn. We'll have to wait and see. Can they get the result they so desperately need in Belgium at Spa-Francorchamps? Well, you'll just have to wait and see. Thank you very much for watching part number 12 of the Last to First Championship. Wow, we are back and running, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. I'm sure you'll be pleased to hear. And what a way to come back, a win for the Haas Formula 1 team. Absolutely astonishing stuff. If you did enjoy this, then leave it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. There's content coming out every single day on this channel until at least January next year, if not further, depending on how things go. And I'm so looking forward to the journey ahead. Well, next up, like I said, we're at the Belgian Grand Prix. See if you can guess who will be driving as we head over to Spa. Once again, though, thank you very much for watching. It's another win in the books. Until next time, I'll see you soon.